Best-selling book. Number one Wall Street Journal bestseller. Number one New York Times bestseller. And Amazon bestseller. Don't all of those sound pretty good to be able to have as an author? Out of all the authors I've talked to, I've never had one turn down the idea of gaining a bestseller status. There are a lot of different kinds of bestsellers out there, and the average author or the new author doesn't fully understand it. And that's okay. That's why I'm here, to help you understand what a best-selling book means and what it means to become a best-selling author. Becoming a bestseller is a great thing for your author brand. It helps you get your foot in the door in other places you may not have been able to, and it helps reach a milestone in your author career. In this episode, I'm going to go over the different types of Amazon bestsellers, because there's a lot of different types, and you need to understand what it means, what it takes to get there, and what it has to offer you, and frankly, if you decide if it's worth it for you. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. After over a decade of working with a variety of authors and working towards bestseller status, I fully understand the appeal of being a best-selling author. But there's more to it than just hitting a status. Now, in this episode, we're going to go over exactly what it means to be an Amazon bestseller, but I want you to take a step back and really think about, what do you want to achieve as an author? And can achieving a bestseller status help you get there? Because too many times, too many authors go after the bestseller status because it's frankly feels like a shiny object. And it's not a bad thing to have. I do advocate for it, but I don't advocate for it if it's going to sacrifice your longer term strategy. And this may sound paradoxical, if it's going to sacrifice book sales and getting your readers to actually read the book. Because the best type of bestseller is one that happens over time. And I'll go into the details of that at the very end of the podcast so you can understand and decide if this is the right type of bestseller for you. So let's dive into what it means to be an Amazon bestseller. Amazon bestsellers are all dynamic. Unlike the Wall Street Journal that doesn't exist anymore, or USA Today and the New York Times, they take snapshots over a month or a week's time. Amazons are ever evolving, and they have three main types of bestseller status that authors can go after. The first is overall bestsellers on the Amazon charts. They have a spot where you can look no matter the genre and see what are the top books on Amazon. The second type of bestseller that Amazon offers is category bestsellers. So your book, based on the format, so print, which includes paperback and hardcover, and then ebook and audiobook, when those are listed on Amazon, you go down a bit into the product details on the listing page and you'll see all the areas where it's categorized. So for business authors, many of I work with, this could be leadership and motivation, this could be workplace culture, this could be time management. There's a lot of different bestseller categories out there, and some of them aren't even visible when you go through the categories. Your book will be put into up to 3 categories per format. So realistically, if you have a paperback, a hardcover, an audiobook, and an ebook, your book could be in 12 different categories. This is important because when you click on that category, it takes you to the Amazon bestsellers in that category. So the other day I was looking with an author on what it would take to get the number 1 in a category for their book in leadership. And there's a lot of books that are competitive. And there are a lot of books in that space. And when we were looking at it, they would have to sell within one day at least 500 copies of their book because it was in the top 1,000 out of all the books on Amazon for that spot currently. And that's what's interesting about this list is it's dynamic. You look at the overall ranking of a book on Amazon, and one day the number one spot could be 500 in a category, or it could be 10,000 in the same category. It's just all based on the competition that's happening at that moment in time. Now, don't despair. You don't need to have the exact number. And by watching the categories over a few weeks, you're able to easily tell what the average number one spot will be in that category. And then at that point, you can estimate how many books you need to sell to get the number one spot. Now, the third category only qualifies to books that are in the pre-order process and 6 weeks after the book publishes. And that is called the hot new release category. Now, generally speaking, the hot new release category is easier to get a number one spot in because all of the mega bestsellers or the books that have done really well over time are no longer qualified to be in that category after 6 weeks. And this is where you probably will see the majority of brand new authors saying that they are an Amazon bestseller in such and such category. Or they'll say, if they want to be more accurate, we're a bestseller as a hot new release in this category. Now, it's a mouthful to say that, so that's why I think authors just fast track to saying Amazon bestseller. It's a lot easier to understand. So from there, you start to research your category and find out what is the overall ranking of those books in either the category or in the hot new release category of your book. And so when I was working with this author this week, we looked at both in the same category, the overall category and the hot new releases. And it was by far easier to have them in the hot new release category. So much, much, much more doable to be able to get the number one spot and hit that milestone of being an Amazon bestseller. You may assume as a new author that if you hit those spots, you're going to sell lots of books. That's not necessarily so, because you as the author will choose when you do your marketing, and you want to create word of mouth marketing. That's the best marketing that you can have. But for authors who are new and you're building your platform, you'll need to coordinate an effort to get the number one spot in your category if that's what you're going for. So I've seen at the lowest, and these are categories that were very niche, maybe not the most popular categories, but were specific to the author. We estimated that their book only needed to sell 30 books in one day in a 24-hour period. And that was based off of a ranking at the time of about 20 to 30,000, if I recall. And that meant it was going to be fairly easy. They didn't need to put a lot of effort in. They just needed to make sure they let their colleagues, friends and family, and people know to go on a certain day to purchase the book. Now, other categories, I would say if you're in the top 1,000 that you're competing against for other books, you're going to probably need to sell anywhere from 200 up to maybe 1,000 books within a 24-hour period. And when the books are being purchased that day, you'll be able to go in and watch the updated ranking every few hours. So now we're to the point where you need to decide, is this something worth pursuing? I work with all the authors on this and ask them, why do they want to achieve this, especially if they're going for a more competitive category? Because we need to look at, what are your real goals for your book? Book sales are great. Readability books are even better. And for business and self-help authors, it'll be even better if you can use your book to get more keynotes, bring more business and clients to you, because that's where the real money is made. So here's some questions to think about specifically for you to understand if this is right for you. What would it mean for me if I got the bestseller status? How much time, effort, and budget will I need to put into this? And what's the risk if I do not make it? Take it some time today and think about exactly what this means to you to get an Amazon bestseller. In future episodes, I'll review and go over how to get on the New York Times as well as the USA Today bestseller list. But to do a quick recap, looking at this, Amazon has 3 basic categories for bestsellers: Amazon charts, Amazon categories for books, as well as hot new releases for books. So thanks for listening today. As always, if this episode was helpful, please share it with someone and give a review if you haven't already. Keep writing, keep marketing, and keep going after your dreams as an author.